So guys, the answer to this, if I wanted to write an equation, a reflect over the x-axis means I'll have the negative in front. Whenever you see the word right, know that inside of here, it'll be a minus sign. Down 4 will be a -4. Okay, now let's talk about the vertex. If I want to know the vertex of this graph, I know that it'll be opposite of this number. So it'll be a 3, and it'll be this number right here, -4. And this makes sense because it says right 3, so I have a 3, down 4. So this is my vertex. So if I were to graph this, it went right 3 spaces, down 4 spaces. So this is my vertex at 3, -4. Now, because there's a negative in the very front, it's going to be facing down. Okay? So now that I know this information, my range will always include this number right here. And because it's a negative, I know it's going to face down. So it'll be -infinity to -4. And look at the picture that I just drew. The bottom is pointing to -infinity and the very top is at -4. So that's my range, okay? My domain for all of these questions will be all real numbers every time because it goes forever left, forever right, okay? One last thing that I'm going to talk about is the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is the line that splits it right down the middle. It goes through the x-axis at 3. So that means your axis of symmetry is x equals 3. It will always be the x value of your vertex. Your vertex and your axis of symmetry should always match. And it'll always be opposite of this number. Okay? All right, so I'm going to give you guys another one, and I want y'all to give me as much information about it as you can. So the equation you should have put for this, it went to the left. So this will be x plus 1, and then it went down 3. Now, vertical compression, what kind of numbers do I want? Less than 1. I want some type of fraction. So give me a fraction. 1/3, I'll take it. Okay, so that's fine. If you put 1/2, that's also correct. I want a number between 0 and 1. Now, I noticed some of you guys, well, what's my range? Let's talk about my range. What's my range going to be? The range is always this number. And it'll go up to infinity. Guys, this one is not facing down. It's facing up. There's not a negative in front. So it goes from -3 up to infinity. So let me draw you a picture real quick. This says left 1 and down 3. So this is my vertex. And then it goes up from there. So my range is down here at -3. That's the bottom. And then it goes up. Okay? So guys, if there's not a negative in the very front, it's facing up. So it's going to be this number to infinity. However, if there's a negative right here, that means it's now facing down. And that means it would be -infinity up to -3. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about the vertex. The vertex is opposite of this number. So -1 and down 3. And that makes sense because this says left 1, down 3. This will also be your axis of symmetry. So your axis of symmetry is x equals -1. That's the line that splits it down the middle. Okay, and what's my domain? All real numbers always. Okay, great. Let's move on to another example. There you go, guys. Okay, so what you should have gotten is it went to the left. So this will be a +3. It went up 1 and a vertical stretch. What kind of numbers do I want? Bigger than 1. So give me any numbers. Okay, I'll do 2. If you put 3, that's fine. If you put 20, that's fine. Okay, it just needs to be bigger than 1 for it to be a stretch. Okay, now my vertex. What's my vertex, guys? Good. -3, 1. It's always opposite of this number and keep this number. So what is my axis of symmetry? Good. It's always this number, the opposite of that number, x equals -3. What's my range? Yes, 1 to infinity. Perfect. And what's my domain? All real numbers. So if it confuses you to get it just by looking at the equation, feel free to graph it. It tells us that it went left 3, up 1. Is it facing up or down? How do we know it's facing up? Good, it's not a reflection, okay? So that's my picture. So that's how I can figure out what my vertex is. This point right here is at -3, 1. I can also figure out my axis of symmetry by looking at the picture. That line that I drew splits the graph in half. That's the x-axis at -3. So that's what I have for axis of symmetry. My range is bottom to top. Well, here's the bottom at 1, and the top goes to infinity. So that's 1 to infinity, 1 to infinity. Okay? So you can tell all of this information just by looking at the equation. But if it helps you, by all means, draw a picture. Okay? Let's look at another example. So the answer to this one, your equation, it went to the left. So that'll be x plus 3. It went up 1. It's a vertical stretch. I need a number bigger than 1. 6. Okay. And then it says reflect over the x-axis. So I need a negative sign. So that's my equation. If you didn't want to put 6 there, you can put any number bigger than 1. You can put 200. You can put 7. You can put 3. Okay, now let's talk about the different attributes. So guys, my vertex was what? Yep, opposite of this is -3, and then you want the y value 1. So -3, 1. What's my axis of symmetry? Yep, x equals -3. It's always opposite of this number. And what's my range? 1, 2. Ooh, it's facing down, isn't it? There's a negative in front, so it's pointing down. So it'll be -infinity up to always this number 1. Okay, so let me draw you a picture. Normally it starts here. This is the parent function. Normally it starts there at 0, 0. But it went left 3 spaces and then it went up 1 space. So this is my new vertex. And it says reflection. So I'm going to go like this. It's facing down. So the very bottom is at -infinity because this goes on forever. And the very top is at 1. That's why your range is -infinity to 1. Bottom to top. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more. So let me go past this. What if I said it went right 3? What's my equation? What's my vertex? What's my range? Yep. Vertex. Give me the domain too. Domain, range, and of course I want the equation. Okay. The equation to this one, it went to the right. So that means I'll have my absolute value and it'll be x minus 3. The vertex, remember, it went to the right. So it's 3, 0. It didn't go up or down. So this is just 0. My domain is always all real numbers. My range, did it go up or down? Okay, is it facing up or down? It's facing up. So that'll be 0 to infinity. Let me draw you a picture so you can visualize this. Normally, it's right here, right? However, with the transformations, it went to the right 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, our new graph is right here. So look, this is our vertex at 3, 0. Your domain is still all real numbers. Your range, the very bottom is at 0, and it goes up. So 0 to infinity, okay? Axis of symmetry. Yeah, let's talk about the axis of symmetry. Split it right down the middle. I cross the x-axis where? At 3. So the axis of symmetry is x equals 3. The axis of symmetry is x equals 3. Okay, let's do one more. And then we're gonna go to, actually, I think we had enough of these. Let's practice graphing. So I'm gonna do one with you. First of all, looking at this equation, what are my different transformations? Yep. Yep, whenever we say flipped, that's called a reflection. So this is a reflection over the x-axis. Yep, it's stretched by 2. It's a vertical stretch by 2. Right, 3. Up 1. Okay, so those are my transformations. Let's graph it. So I'm going to start, you always start here at your vertex, and it goes right 3, up 1. That is right there. Okay? And now, guys, this is my slope. This is my slope, the -2. So I'm just going to go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. So this is one side. And then just follow the pattern on this side to create your V shape. So that is your equation. Make sense? Okay, let's do another one. Can I erase this? Okay, let me do another one. I'll do a different equation. We'll not do this one. Let's say y is equal to 3/5 x minus 2 minus 7. Okay, so guys, this went right 2, down 7. Let me just graph my vertex first. Right 2, so over 2, down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here, this is my vertex. And my slope is 3/5. So go up 3 over 5. Up 3 over 5. And then go this way. Up 3 over 5. Up 3 over 5. And that's your graph. This number in front is my slope. 3/5. And notice, guys, this graph is kind of flat. It's because it's a compression. They made it flat and wide. It's compression. Okay. Y'all want another example? Another one? Okay. Let's do another example. I'm going to clear this off. Let's do, not this one. Let's do y equals 4x minus 3. So what are my transformations? Down 3. And what does that 4 do? Yep, it's going to stretch by 4. It's going to be nice and skinny because we stretched it tall. It's a vertical stretch by 4. Okay, so guys, all I did is go down 3. So here's my vertex right there. That's my vertex. It went down 3. Now let's graph my slope. My slope is 4. So go up 4 spaces over 1. Up 4 over 1. And that makes sense because we're supposed to get a skinny graph. Up 4 this way. Continue the pattern. Okay, so this is a vertical stretch. Remember, when you get numbers bigger than 1, it's going to be skinny. It's a vertical stretch. Okay? All right, so you guys are going to practice some more on your papers. I'm going to end here.